Hi, my name is Vanessa Williamson. Welcome to Feminine Spaces. This channel is dedicated to topics relating to women, relationships, and lifestyle. The future is feminine, and it starts here. Have you ever given any thought to how you work through a challenge, how you address it, or if you choose not to? There's one thing that each and every one of us have in common when it comes to addressing a challenge and not being successful at it. It's something that's always in the back of the mind when you're going, oof, is this something I can do or I can't do? And that, my darlings, is called a pain point. And a pain point is always surrounded by fear. A fear of change, a fear of not looking good in front of your friends. It's a fear of not being enough. It's a fear of not being loved. It's a fear of not being invited. It's just a fear. And the fear is always surrounded with change. So any challenge that you're going through is the pain point of the change of whatever that challenge is, whether it's growing and developing as a human being through breaking up with a friend or a lover, or stepping away and giving yourself some space as you put hard boundaries in your relationships with your family and your friends. All of those things are very concerning, and a lot of women have a difficult time pushing past the pain point because of the fear of not being loved, of not being enough, and just the fear of the unknown. Part of understanding the embracing of new experiences or embracing change is that every time that we step into any kind of difficult situation or a positive situation, it could be learning how to have an interesting and better communication style with your spouse, or it could also be an experience of going surfing for the first time. Doing something different and something new is scary. The water is going to be cold. You're going to be making a fool of yourself in front of people that you don't know, and you really don't care as you start becoming better at standing up on the board, on knowing how to wax the board, on being able to have more core, engaging your core to be able to stand up on the board and to be able to move through the water swiftly and gracefully. It takes practice and it takes time. Just like when you're learning a new conversation style, or how do you want to communicate more effectively in your relationships. When you're used to doing something one way and you start doing something new, you're going to fumble through it. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to be afraid that perhaps you're not going to be accepted, or that perhaps it's not going to turn out the way you want. And still, you move through it, because that is the beauty of embracing change. And this is how we discover how to navigate life transitions with grace. So 3 things that I'm suggesting today and explaining upon on the benefit of embracing change are: 1 is that change stimulates growth, 2, it keeps life exciting, and 3, it encourages adaptability. So I'll start with number 1. Embracing change. Change stimulates growth. How does it stimulate growth? Because you're actually moving through something that you've never done before. So growth through change stimulates growth. So how do you discover your personal growth? Is by identifying the catalyst. What is it in this specific challenge or situation that's preventing you from going forward? What is your fear? What is your pain point that's preventing you from going forward? When you're able to identify that and really look at it for what it is, it's like, it's afraid of unknown, it's afraid of not being enough. That's always the pain point. So when you can look at the challenge and go, oof, I'm afraid to go through this. Why? Because it's something I don't know. It's something I've never done before. And between you and I, every single time I do something new, I always go through the fear point. Even at the age that I'm at now, I'm still nervous about not being enough, or is it going to be good enough? I'm afraid that I'm not going to be accepted. I'm afraid I'm not going to be loved. And then I take a moment to kind of open up that statement and go, am I not going to be loved? Am I not enough? Am I not going to be this? And then you realize, no, that's not what it is at all. It's just that I don't know what the steps are before me. I'm a little bit nervous, but I know as I look at the situation more logically and understand, oh, this is why. So I don't know how to serve. And the reason I don't know how to serve is because I haven't practiced enough standing on the board. My core isn't strong enough. Why isn't my core strong enough? Because I haven't done any exercise ever. Okay, so the way to increase core strength is by doing sit-ups and pull-ups and push-ups. And then you do that for a couple of weeks and all of a sudden you have more core strength. So then when you get on the surfboard, you can actually stand yourself up, you can maneuver the board, and that's what helps you understand the process of anything you're afraid of is because you don't know what it is, you don't know what to do with it. But when you step back and take the step, when you step back and look at it and go, oh, there's steps here that I don't know. How do I get the answers to these steps? Do I call a friend? Do I Google? Do I read in a book? And then you move forward. The other things to remember that change stimulates growth is that every time you reflect on past changes and the growth that is spurred within you. So when I use the analogy of the surfboard, when you go, oh my God, I want to learn to ride horses, or oh my goodness, I want to learn how to bake a cake. It's the same exact process. Oh, it's scary to look at the cookbook and look at that beautiful cake. I can't make a cake like that the first time out. No, you probably won't. But you will learn how to measure the ingredients. You will put all of the ingredients in a bowl. You will have the oven. You will put the wet ingredients. You put everything in the mold. You bake it in the oven and it comes out, and I'm sure it's going to taste delicious. It might not look as beautiful as the cake that you see in the cookbook, but after practice, I assure you that the cake you have at 20 is going to be significantly better than the cake that you started off with at number 1, because you're applying the same systems of addressing the fear, the pain point, and being able to logically assess the situation and go, oh, this is what it is, and this is what I need in order to move forward. The other part of change stimulating growth and in helping you to embrace change is that when you set new goals and the challenges that push you out of your comfort zone, every time you do something new, it's going to be the same skill set, but you're still going to be afraid and you're going to push through, and that's how you grow. The next one is embracing change can enhance cognitive function and creativity. Again, the way that it enhances cognitive function is because every time you do something new in a different way, it creates new neural pathways in your brain. There's like highways of information. So like, when you drive from your home to your office and you go the same exact way and it becomes like route memory. Sometimes you arrive at work and you're like, oh my God, how did I get here? Because it's so automatic pilot. Try going to work a different way. It engages your senses. You're looking at a completely different type of landscape, and it's going to enhance your brain function because you're doing something new and you're creating new neural pathways, which makes your brain function better. It makes you look at things in a different way. And believe it or not, it sparks creativity because you're looking at something through the lens of something that you haven't seen before. And that always elicits excitement and it helps you to create something new in your life. Part of growth through change is also you can track how you are attaining your success in anything new. You just get a piece of paper or you get a little notebook and you start day 1. This is what I want and this is my experience on day 1. And then you do the same thing on day 2 and you do the same thing on day 3. And by the time you look at it 3 months down the line, you've changed so much. You've adapted a new skill set, and that new skill set has engaged the creativity in your person and has allowed you to gain confidence because Now you're daring to do something new. And it's helping you to understand the power of embracing change. The second one is keeps life exciting. And it's true. Life is an exciting journey. And anytime you do something new, it's going to bring a little bit of sizzle to it. Learning how to change keeps life vibrant and full of surprises. A fun way that you can do to bring in excitement is by doing something you've always wanted to do, but didn't dare. Or you could do something brand new. The other day, my husband and I went to, we have focused on keeping life exciting by doing something brand new every single month. And this is one of the tips that are here in the list of enduring change, is doing one new thing every month. We went to Copenhagen for the day, and I found this great 90-minute tour from Funga Farms over in Copenhagen. Hi, Kyle. And we had a fantastic introductory into the world of mushrooms. I love mushrooms. And another thing that I'm introducing into our life is learning about different sources of protein to help, the variety of the foods that we eat. Instead of always being fish or chicken, maybe having some mushrooms and tofu and just eating other things to keep life sexy. So we went to this Funga Farm 90-minute tour, and it was incredibly exciting. One, we got to meet other people who have a mutual interest. Two, we went to Copenhagen because I live in Malmo. Malmo is 350,000 people. When you go to Copenhagen, it's 1 million people. It's super sexy, it's fast, and it just brings in kind of electricity and makes it dynamic. Well, my husband and I did the tour. We learned so much about mushrooms, from spores to placing them in the bag and then cultivating and growing for 6 weeks. And then we left with a lot of mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms, cholera mushrooms, or coral mushrooms, and some lion's mane. And we made a fantastic dinner. And we talked about this for several days, about the experience, about going over and coming back and actually implementing something different. This is the beauty of embracing change. By doing something exciting in your life, by doing one new thing a month, it helps you become alive in this beautiful journey that is your life. Another thing that's fantastic is that these new experiences, they do increase happiness and fulfillment, as I just shared with you. And the third thing, when it comes to embracing change and discover how to navigate life's transition with grace, it is encouraging adaptability. When you cultivate adaptability, it's about understanding how adaptability is helping you navigate life's transitions. There's always going to be something going on in your life, whether it's with yourself, with your family, with your spouse, with your children, with your fur babies, with your friends, or at work. There's going to be positive challenges and there's going to be negative challenges. And a challenge is a challenge. But when you learn the importance of embracing change by being able to go through your pain point of fear and understanding that fear is just not knowing what's going to happen, or the feeling of not being loved, or something else, because the feelings and the thoughts are distinctly different from the reality of what's going on. So by understanding the power of adaptability and navigating life's transitions, it helps you to see, I can step a little bit, I can have a little bit of distance between what's going on in front of me now and look at it more objectively, because I understand that every time I go through a challenge, I grow in a way that gives me more depth and gives me more confidence in myself. And trusting and believing in yourself is part of that process. The second part that comes to encouraging adaptability is that you develop a mindset of being flexible. And being flexible is so good, because when we're in a rigid state, when we address a challenge. You know, we can't look around this. There's no way to look at this challenge and only see it for what it is. When you're able to take a couple of deep breaths and take a little distance from the situation, it allows you to be flexible and allows you to have other thoughts or other ideas on how do you solve the situation before you. And this is what is constantly encouraging you to embrace change. And this is how we discover how to navigate life's transitions with grace, because grace comes from wisdom, and wisdom comes from stepping through the challenge that's in front of you and being flexible, and it encourages being adaptable to all aspects of your life. And finally, adaptability is linked with improved problem-solving skills and resilience. Because like I just said, when you recognize that every single challenge, whether it's learning to surf, taking a cooking class, or learning how to communicate more effectively in your relationships and show up for yourself with confidence, all of these things take skills. It takes discipline. It takes the willingness to go past the pain point of fear and be able to move forward into attaining whatever it is that you want out of life and gaining success, by remembering that these challenges are how we are able to embrace change, is by stepping through it and recognizing this is just going to be a moment. I'm going to move through this challenge. I'm going to think differently than I do. And if I don't have the wherewithal to think differently or look differently, reach out to your community. Reach out to your friends, to your family, to a mentor, someone that you really respect and trust, and ask them to give you some information or to help give you a different perspective on how to address the challenge. Because when you address the challenge, that's what helps you understand how you transition through anything with grace, because grace always comes through wisdom. And wisdom always comes through just stepping through that challenge and doing it. Whether it's learning how to surf for the first time and taking 30 lessons to become, pretty good at it, when it comes to baking a cake for a first time, when it comes to going out and walking the first time 10,000 or 12,000 steps, or how to communicate more effectively in your relationship with your spouse. I trust the information you gained today helped you in becoming the best person that you want to be. And remember that embracing change is the only way that we can discover how to navigate life's transitions with grace. Enjoy your week. I'll see you in the next video.